Hello, this is Katie, and I wanted to show you the May 2015 Simon Says Stamp card kit. And this they put in there too because I ordered it separately. I got a Newton's Nook, what's it called? Maybe it doesn't have a name. Newton's Holiday Mischief, because I needed some kitty stamps, and I thought maybe this Christmas I'll do some kitty stuff because they're pretty cute. So that is separate from the kit, but they stuck it in there to save space. So I'm going to show you the kit. I do not have a subscription because I canceled it. The quality of their stamps were not very impressive to me, and I just don't love every month. So I figure if there's a kit I really like, then I can pay a little more and just get one, and then I'm not wasting that money every month on stuff I'll probably never use again. So I really liked this one. I'll show you this part first because I just like looking at all of the ideas, and I think I'm going to make this card. I'm going to be very uninventive like I usually am and copy someone else's card. So I'm going to try and make the one that Laura Basson made because she is awesome and I like the look of that one. There was one in a video, I believe, Sherry, who did the intro to the kit for Simon Says Stamp, and I like that one, but I like this one better, so I think I'm going to try and make that one. So you have the inspiration sheet, which I will need to look at. Then you have this pale blush pink Simon Says Stamp ink pad, which I just love the color, and I love corally type colors. It's a little pinker to my eye than I'm seeing in the view from the camera on my phone, so I'm not sure what that looks like too, but I won't be using this on the stamp or on the card since I'm copying that card, but I will open this up and maybe just brush some of it onto a piece of cardstock to show you. So I'm going to set that aside for a second, show you what else is in here. The stamp set is really cute. I really like the congratulations, which we'll be using, and these are becoming a thing now. I have that Lawn Fawn set. If I can grab it quickly. I haven't used any of them, but it kind of reminds me of this one, and I feel like there were other stamp companies that did that type of, you know, stringing out the words before even Lawn Fawn, but I just like them a lot, and they can kind of dance across the whole card, even if it's the wide part of the card, and just kind of bring it together. So those are really cute. And then they have some little, like, to the happy couple, to the beautiful bride, congratulations, so you're tying the knot, I guess, Mr. and Mrs., and then some dots. It almost looks like a constellation. So we'll be using that set, and I'll be putting it into one of my Avery Elle sleeves with a paper backer, like you just saw in the Lawn Fawn one. These always smell so strong to me. Maybe just the Simon Says Stamp ones, but like very much like Plastic Factory. Then there are stickers. I want to make sure I have all of them. So I guess they show you on the back what you get, but I'll show you here. You have gold letters. You have kind of the wedding party, if you want it. I might actually use these in my album, my wedding album, for photos and stuff like that too. So those are kind of like tab labels to cover your part of the wedding party. I guess the whole wedding party. Other things I might actually use in the album. I got a Project Life album with Project Life type, not that brand, but those insert sheets, because I'm not a scrapbooker, so I'm going to do it with cards and stuff and just do a very quick album because I want to have something. So these might go with that. Some more gold in there. Gold is not my favorite color, but it does go really good with this pink and this whole set. So some very cute, also gold stickers and some other things that I might use. I suppose you could use some of them on a card. They seem a little more scrapbooky, so I might use them for that. And then the papers that you get, I'll be using this one. this one for the card. That's the back of that one. Then you have diamonds on it's a light pink paper, so it's not white. It's just hard to see on camera. There's no back to that one. This is the back. It's pink and white. It looks more peach on camera to me, but it is pinker than that. And then the stripes, and that's pink as well. It's almost like the blush pink, like the name says. And then that's the same light pink. Same light pink as well with the gold. That's just black and gray paper. The polka dots, gold with the light pink. Little gold dots on light pink paper. Gold diamonds on black. The white paper with the black, or the gold, sorry, the gold dots on white paper. So that one is not pink. Black and gold. And then another one. These remind me of those paint swatches you can get in the store. I used to take those as a kid because I thought anything free was awesome, but now I realize they're useless. But I've seen people do a few crafty things with them, so I guess they're not useless. But that's what I think of. So you see the gold strips, and then these are just from white through different shades of pink. So we're going to be using this one on the card today. So I'm going to set aside. There's actually another one that we're using on the card. Oh, it's not the back of it, is it? It is the back of it. Okay. We're going to have to split that up. All right. Then you get a sucker, and of course I always get the flavor I hate, which is bubblegum, so I'm throwing that away. Then we've got, I'm sure there are names for these. You can probably look them up if you want whatever's in the kit. There's a gray, a black, which I'll be using. I have black, but I'll use the black from the kit since I'm making a card with the kit. Light gray, and then two ivory kind of colors. I realize I'm blocking all of my light with the lid there, so I'll just take these out, and then I'll move the box out of the way, and we'll get started. I'm also going to be using a Pretty Pink Posh border die. I do not know, there might have been a video for this. I don't know what she used to curve it. I'm sure there was just a die. This is going to have dashes on, I think, just the bottom, because they're above the cut, so the dashes won't be showing on this upper portion. But I will be using that as my guide. So we'll start with, actually I wanted to show you what this pink blush looked like. So I just wanted to, it is kind of peachy. It's kind of, I guess it's not deceiving per se. This looks more pink to me here than it does on paper, but it is a very pretty blush peachy pink. Looks like iced tea to me. So, like I said, I'm not really sure how the camera changes these things, so hopefully you can kind of see. I'm sure I'll use that for something. It's one of those, the dye inks, that if you stamp a solid image, you have to give it a few minutes and it'll kind of blend out on its own as it dries. It's very interesting to watch. If anybody has seen or done a time lapse on something like that, like where you don't have to watch a video for 3 minutes, but maybe like a time lapse to speed it up and show you how it actually blends out, that'd be kind of cool. I suppose I could do it myself, but I don't want to. So there's that. Let's start with the ivory cardstock. I don't know what the name for it is. It's ivory colored to me, kind of a cream. It looks like we're using both sides, so we'll have to get tricky with that. I'm going to cut this way at 5.5 because it's going to be a card that opens like a book, not a top opening card. So I'll save the other half for another card. And then we'll be scoring this one at 4.25. I use the bigger Martha Stewart one, but it tends to put holes in my paper if I go too rough with it. So I'm going to use the other piece of paper. That was very dumb. I don't use the one that comes with it because it's not very strong, but I also need to be careful when I'm doing that. So then we'll fold over to get our card base. And again, I've probably mentioned this before, but you'll notice sometimes there's a longer flap. You just want to make that the front of your card, so the shorter one is in the back. So, let's see. Okay. So I think for this one, it's kind of going up that way. So I think what I'll do, this is a better looking corner. We'll cut this to the 5.5 width. So we'll go out to 5.5. Hello. And cut that and hope that's all right. It actually cuts off just a gold strip. That's about the right size. I probably should have done that in the middle so it doesn't look like, oh, sorry. So it doesn't look like that, but oh well. You are heavy. Okay. So then we have the width down, but I need to use the other side of this as well. So I think we'll go about maybe an inch or an inch and a half up the card. I'm trying to think of how tall that would be. An inch and a half should be just fine. We'll come back to the cutting part again as well. This one's going to be mounted to the base, and the rest of it, it looks like might be lifted up. So again, I'm not very creative, so I have to kind of follow a pattern or an idea. If I try and make up a card out of the blue on my own without inspiration, usually it just looks bad. I end up not liking it. And when I'm trying to line up things, I just try and lay the card flat, line up the corner, press that down, and then go out to the edge. It's just easier rather than having it folded and trying to do that. And then this was a little bit longer, so I'm just going to trim that off from behind, which makes it very easy. And so yeah, I probably should have cut the gold, now that I think about it, cut it out of the middle instead, because now I don't have gold on the end, but that's okay. So then we need the rest of it to cover the top of the card. So I think we're going to raise this up and have the black on that as well. So I think I'm going to take a border out of this first. Then we will do the rest of it. So I'll grab the Big Shot. My plates in order. All right, so I'll set, oh, need a plate. Set that here, and we'll just put just towards the very bottom, the lowest I can go. I just don't need to waste paper, and I can save a strip up at the top for something else. So we'll just take off the bottom of it. And since it's going horizontally, you're going to hear kind of a weird snap, as opposed to feeding it through this way. When you're feeding it through like that, it kind of crunches the whole thing at once, so it might feel a little hard to get through as well. But it shouldn't be an issue. So then, set that aside for a second and take a look at where we need that to come down to. So we'll be putting the congratulations strip on this as well. I just want it to come to about there. So I think I'll make a snip, since it's not stuck down. I'll make a cut. Screw it. Let's keep going. I'm sure it's fine. Works for me. Okay, so I can save this strip for something else another time. So now we'll make the black paper strip, and I'll use the black paper from the kit. And I want to make a piece that is 5.5 inches wide. So I want to open that up, and we'll go 5.5 there. Save the other part, and then I really only need, I'm not sure how wide this needs to be, but maybe I'll go 2.5 just to be safe. And we will do the stamping and the embossing because it's embossed with white powder, it looks like to me, with the congratulations first, and then I'll do the die cutting after that. I don't, let's see, whatever. We'll just use a very big block because it's very long. I don't like sticking stuff that's been embossed, like heat embossed with powder, through the die cut because it always, it kind of smushes it. If you haven't given it like a day to dry, it'll kind of smush it down a little bit. So maybe I can just gauge where I need to go, and I can do this part first because I don't want to send that through and then have the particles or the paper pieces from my plates get into the embossing. It would just look awful. So maybe try this part first. So we'll set that up to take out the very top. Hopefully I cut a piece wide enough. I hope that 2.5 inches is enough to take some off and still have room. So like I said, the dashed lines are going to be on this piece I'm taking away. So the top won't have dashed lines. Let's see where this, I feel like this might have been curved as well, the stamp a little bit. So that's going to be up there. Maybe I can sneak this under. This is going to be very sneaky. I'm going to hold this with both fingers, slide it under my stamp block onto the paper where I know it'll fit. Make sure I straighten that out. And then I can take the stamp away. I just invented a new trick. All right, perfect. So now I know it'll be the perfect size. I may try and manipulate the stamp a little bit since it's plastic, not plastic, photopolymer, but clear and bendable, and kind of curve it. I think that's maybe what she did. So let's set this aside. I hope my camera or my phone doesn't run out of space before I end up doing this. I'm gonna try and zoom in a little bit. I have to pinch and zoom on my phone, so it's gonna look a little silly. So maybe, I wonder if she did do something like that. Maybe I'll press it down in the middle and kind of curve it up myself. These are very sticky, especially if they're brand new. So it's not too hard. So this is actually curvier than it was, and that actually is gonna look really cute, I think. Do I say the word actually too much? I probably do, but that's okay. All right, so let's get our embossing powder and get the paper ready for nothing to stick to it. And then I want Versamark ink. I'm gonna wipe this off. Powder does its job. You can wipe off the powder. It should be just fine. We want Versamark ink. Get that all over our stamp. Make sure it's all inked up. Then we want to stamp that right in the middle and hope that none of the ink from the background is getting on there, and just the words that we want. Looks good. Cover this up, and then I just use printer paper, which I happen to have some nearby in my bag from card class, so we'll just do that. I have Paper Source, which is a local store. It's not local. I'm sure they're everywhere, but it is. There's one nearby. Where I bought that. So it's just white embossing powder. So I'm going to just cover it. I can always put it all back in. It's not that big of a deal. And then I just kind of flick it. And sometimes more comes off than I really want it to, so I try not to do it too much. But I also have, I probably covered this in a past video, but in case you haven't seen that, I have a little paintbrush to flick off, or just redirect. Honestly, sometimes they statically cling elsewhere. Little specks that stick, but that embossing bag, the little dust bag, is going to help a lot with getting rid of the static and making sure that the powder only goes where your ink goes. Okay, so I always make sure, it's kind of a silly, it's not silly, but a pattern of things. I put away the ink pad, the Versamark ink pad, before I deal with the powder, or else the powder will stick to the ink pad. And then I put this away before I heat up my tool, because I don't want to heat accidentally. I don't know how I would do it. Heat an entire jar solid of powder. So before I get going on the heat, I try and make sure everything else is out of the way. Okay, and then going to heat this up for about 10 seconds before I aim at it there, just so I know that it's hot and ready to go. And you might not be able to hear anything, so I'm not going to talk. Okay, when it all looks melted, I usually just go over it really quickly again with the heat. Sometimes you'll get a speck that melts and you can usually scrape it off or whatever. Sometimes it's not that noticeable. So I'll let this dry for a little bit. You can usually touch it right away, but I don't need to at the moment. So I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. There we go. So I think this is a good... maybe a little higher. Maybe we'll trim off some more. Oh no, that's right. That's where I wanted it. Okay, so I will connect this to this. So just flat on there. Make sure that that's dried enough so we're not smudging the work we just did with the embossing. Okay. Then, since we use the same die, it's really easy to line these up. The same border die to create that curve. Just line it up with the curve. And it looks like this may be a little bit wider than the black part. So I'm just going to kind of trim along the black to get rid of that. It looks like that might be a little bit on that side. All right, so that should be good. So then we're going to lift this up as like the whole panel and raise that up with some foam. So I will put foam tape on all along the back of it. I'm pretty liberal with the foam tape because if you don't have something like that fun foam that Jennifer McGuire uses, which is just foam that you add adhesive to, and then you end up gluing down just like a whole foam piece. That stuff's a lot cheaper, obviously, because it's not heavy duty 3D foam tape. But it's just, I don't know, I like the foam tape better. I haven't tried using it though, so I'm sure I will at some point. But for now, I will use lots of foam tape. Okay, I hope I'll try and end this video very soon because I don't want my phone to stop recording and tell me it's run out of space. All right, so then I've got the whole back there. I want to line it up with the top. So I'm going to move it to the side and kind of look over from above. And then, oh man, really? After all that? Okay, well, I think I can make that work. Okay. Okay, so we've raised up that whole panel on, you have the piece underneath, and then we've got the embossed. And you could maybe add some sequins or something if you want. I'll probably end up trimming this side just because it's sticking out, and that is annoying and bothers me. But other than that, you get the idea. We basically copied Laura Basson's card, but hey, what are you gonna do? So there you go. I really like the kit. I hope to use the stamp set and some of the other ideas as well, and I hope you learned a few new things today. We'll see you next time.